Okay, welcome back everybody to SkyFactory. So, some people have gotten their hands stuck in a pickle jar maybe, or maybe stuck when trying to get the last Pringle, I'm sure. You know, people get things stuck. But let me ask you, have you ever gotten your head stuck in a block? Yeah guys, I have no idea what is going on. I was working on some stuff here, and we'll get to that later. And I don't know what's going on, guys. I think it's a graphical glitch. We're gonna restart and see what happens. Okay, guys, we're back, and we are normal now. Not saying that block people aren't normal, but yeah, we're normal now. That actually, so it was a graphical glitch. My armor's back. I still have my blocks and stuff. That did give me a good idea. I think I will go without the armor, just so you guys can get maybe a little more familiar with my skin. I wonder if any of you know what the skin is based off of. Probably not, but you can guess. Anyways, you may be wondering, what is this noise that I am hearing right now? Nice and annoying, and consistently annoying even. This is an auto obsidian maker that I just built real quick. We have been needing obsidian actually a lot recently, mainly for the crate upgrades that we want to make. So this void upgrade takes a whole bunch of obsidian. It takes, I think, 7 per upgrade. That's pretty insane. Not only that, if we want to go to 4K capacity upgrade, that's 2 more obsidian per. And so we're gonna need obsidian. And how can we make obsidian? There's a couple different ways, guys, that it has a obsidian. We have obsidian essence, the truffles, so over our resource hogs over there. We can use, what else can we do? We can squeeze, more resource hog, bacon. Ooh, I didn't actually see this one when I was looking at this. We can use magma blocks on obsidian, or sorry, a starlight transmutation on a magma block, and that turns it into obsidian. That's interesting. We can have molten obsidian, which is going to be smelting down obsidian, or like truffles or obsidian tools and stuff. So back to where we started. More truffles. We have this solidifier I was thinking of trying out, but it requires lily pads, which we don't have, and to get them it's actually a little bit complicated, and I didn't feel like doing it. And yeah, everything's like this bacon we basically need. I'm not sure, actually no, I did look at this. The combiner, I was like, it kind of looks like the cobblestone is turning into the dust, which turns into obsidian, but then I saw it's called a combiner, and no, yeah, these two are just being combined. So we need the obsidian to get the obsidian. So really, of all of these, the only real block, or I mean it is block, the only real method that's going to work is just using the old cauldron, what we've been doing by hand. So normally we'd fill this up with cobblestone, it's over a torch so it melts, and then we throw in water and it gives us obsidian. Just like that. See, I got obsidian, just like that. Oh wow, oh my gosh. We threw off the groove, I did not like that. Did you see that lag? Yeah, these guys are kind of glitchy. These are automated users from Cyclic. And I actually didn't look if there are, this is the first solution I found. I didn't look for other things, but there's probably maybe a little better solution than what I'm doing here. But basically, we have our cauldron, we have a cobblestone generator right here, and he's generating cobblestone, which I don't need to clog up my inventory, and that goes directly above it into the automated user. You see this is full of cobblestone here, and then what an automated user does is it can right click, use, or left click, tack on any block or anything really in the world. So this is extremely useful for what we're doing here, because everything to make this obsidian requires right clicking. So what we do, we power this guy, give him cobblestone, he right clicks it into the cauldron. The cauldron is then over the torch so that it makes lava. And then here's kind of the tricky part, is we need to right click this lava with a full bucket. And so what we're doing is I built it here so we could use the water sources that we have up above. This is where we're making plastic up there, if you remember. We have another automated user up here, and he's getting empty buckets, turning them into water buckets by right clicking this source. You see it just disappeared. And then those get sucked out, piped over into this guy here. And this guy is right clicking those water buckets onto the lava. Let's see if we can catch it. That was super fast. He's right clicking the water bucket onto the lava. Yeah, I think you could see it there. And then it outputs the bucket and the obsidian. The obsidian goes straight into here, and the bucket gets sucked back, and so we have that loop. Now, there were some kind of goofy things going on with the item ducts and stuff. That's why you see that I have regular item ducts that we've been using, and then the cyclic item cables, actually, that I haven't used before. I've used the energy cables. That's what we needed to get energy out of our compact machine blocks. They just function a little differently. What was happening is that when I had an item duct just all the way through here, it wasn't registering that there was another inventory for the empty bucket that gets output here to go to. So it would suck out the obsidian, put it in here just fine, and then the empty bucket would just sit right here in the output. And I couldn't figure it out. I tested a couple things, put a chest here and then try to pump it out from the chest, but it just wouldn't register that we had an inventory here that the bucket could go to. And so I was like, okay, let's try the cyclic, because look, these are the same mod, maybe they work a little better. So I turned the whole thing into cyclic, and what was happening was it wasn't prioritizing the close inventory. So the cyclic cable, and I guess to be precise, we're using an extraction cable right here, and the rest are just regular cables. It was extracting, and then instead of putting the obsidian in here, the obsidian and the bucket would come out here and go into here, and so it'd get the bucket, fill the bucket, and then it'd place down an obsidian, effectively breaking the machine. So yeah, that was a big issue. Not a fan of that. And so the solution is just this kind of janky, half of it's an item duct, actually pulling it out, so it prioritizes this, then puts the bucket into here, and the obsidian won't come back through here, because that inventory is much further away than this one. And that's kind of how the priority works right now. The nearest first. And yeah, but then we use the cyclic because it recognizes this cyclic cable as being able to put the bucket in. And then the cyclic cable recognizes this inventory as being able to put the bucket in. So that's kind of the solution I came up with. And yeah, hopefully that was a decent explanation. Hopefully it wasn't too boring and not too complicated either. And then one last thing is I put slabs here just for fun. Maybe I'll surround the whole thing with slabs, because I kept flooding the water down here, breaking the torch, and then it would just fill with water this instead of, because you can't put cobblestone into it if you have no source beneath it to burn the cobblestone. Yeah, so that is our obsidian generator. I'm hoping I can, let's test. Can we do, is it blocks, do you think? Okay, yeah, I think that is a little bit quieter. Oh, that's controls. Anyways, maybe we can get, I don't know if there's like a sound muffler or anything. That's the only thing. Okay, yeah. There's sound things we could do if we really needed to. Super sound muffler. Anyways, yeah, hopefully this is useful. I hope you guys can use that. But yeah, that's what I've been working on just right now. And now let's see, what do we need this obsidian for? So, like I said, we need them for these upgrade void overflows. And I just made a bunch of these. Hey, no, these aren't for you. Come on now. This guy. We have more visitors. I'll tell you about our Enderman problem a little later. But yeah, we need these void upgrades. And let me show you why. So I'm going to enter into our compact machine where we've got a bunch of trees going. And you may notice it looks a little different, maybe a little more crowded than before. So I finally set up, like I said I was going to do, our automatic smelting. And I was having so much trouble, guys, with how to figure out using the packagers, so these guys here, with the right ratios to not clog it up with acorns, because we use less acorns and the trees here produce more of them, so you always get clogged up. And what I found out was, for ease and simplicity, if I want to compact it like this, what I really need to do is just use a manual kind of timer and have, kind of like our battery machine, have set the ratio here, 48 to 60. So we're pulling out the right ratio of acorns to amber. So what I do is, so I have this set up, I just run through, I right click these, right? And then it's going to start pulling these out. And I just kind of keep an eye on the resin, because that's going to run out first. So I want to make sure we don't run out of any resin. And now we've got that high pitch whining sound. Those are the energized smelters going to action, I guess. Anyways, they're smelting. You'll see we get the perfect ratio in here, 48 to 60, and it makes our ambers. Then yeah, we're going down 5, 4, 3, and I can make this faster or slower depending on the redstone clock speed. But I'm gonna turn these off for now. And yeah, so we just made a bunch of amber for all these different ores. They're gonna sit in here, get smelted by the energized smelter, and then go into the nickel or lead or the copper, whatever barrel it is. And yeah, we're getting, you know, a decent amount. 3 stacks of iron, not too bad. And this has only been running, you know, just a little while. And it's, yeah, pretty much as fast as the hopping pots will go. And then for both this system, which I had previously and I changed, and this system, I found I'm just getting so clogged up with leaves and saplings. There are so many. And so what I'm doing, I'm actually just throwing it all away. I'm throwing away everything except on this chain, I'm keeping the wood from everything. Over here, with like the redstone and the lapis, I'm deleting everything except for the acorns. The acorns come in here to make the products we want, all these blocks, while everything else gets thrown away in these trash voids. Now this is kind of scary, because if I accidentally click something into the chest, it's going to get sucked out and it's going to get thrown away. So don't do that. I hope I don't. But we need these overflow upgrades for all of these different crates that we're going to have, because we're going to let these run, and some of these are fine, like the resin we're going to be continually using up, but the acorns, they are just going to build up. And so what we want to do is, maybe later we'll figure out something else to do with them, pump them into a smelter or something. For now, let's just void them. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to void all of the acorns. And I'm also going to void the oak wood, so that once it reaches that max shown in the little blue box on the top of the screen, it'll just throw away all the blocks and the acorns instead of clogging up our chests. And I'm okay if we get a little overflow of resin. I don't think we ever will unless we neglect this a lot. So I'm fine with that. And then come over here, I'm going to void all of these as well. So once they reach that limit, which will take a long time, it will do that. But what I'm going to do up here, oh, and I should probably void these as well. I don't know if I want to yet. We'll see if that ever becomes an issue. 6. Do we think we'll need 65,000 stacks of copper? I think if we get to that point and we're not using it, it's okay to be clogged up. I think that's okay. At the worst, it's going to help us not have this high-pitched ringing noise all the time. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I kind of wanted to set up one of these guys with you so you could see what the process is like. So I set up our osmium because osmium is pretty important, but for the tin and the silver and the gold, I only have them partially set up. Let me walk you through a little bit. So first off, I'm going to walk you through one down here because it's a lot easier to get around than up there. First off, we have our bonsai trees. They grow, and since they're hopping bonsai pots, they're going to output whatever they get into the chest below them. You can see it's doing that here. Now, we're going to pull out those items and push them into crates. So you see we're pulling out right here, and we don't have connected over here. We just have them connected to these 2 crates. And these crates, as you see, not there, but in all of these are for the resin and the acorns. We then have these servos up here tuned, like I said, to the ratio we want. So it's a 5:4 ratio. In this case, we multiply it by 12 to get just higher rates. So that's 48 and 60. So we have those set up. Now we want those so that the redstone control is on high. So then we can send a pulse using a redstone clock. And currently I have it set so that the duration is only at 10 and the delay is at 60. That's default. I turn down the duration, usually it's at 60, because for some reason, if it goes longer, and I haven't tested, if it goes for 60, I know, but I haven't tested 20, 30, 40. But anyways, if it goes too long, the ratios actually get messed up, which doesn't make any sense to me, but it happens. And then also, you have to put a block right here so that the signal goes into this block. This block is powered, which powers the servo, sends a signal to it. So anyways, we turn that on, it pulses through, pulls out, and the ratio set into the packager. Packager is given power right here. And then we have the servo whitelisted to pull out iron amber. So as soon as we have amber and a free spot, it'll pull it out and put it into the smelter. Now the mechanism machines are special. They have a configuration button here. So you have to set so that the input is right here on the right side. So this is, let's see, I think it is, I don't actually remember, but I think it's back, right, left, front, and then I think this is the top and this is the bottom, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This could be the back and that's the top. This could be the bottom. I don't remember. But anyways, I do know, oh, actually, no. I do know this is actually the bottom. So I think, yeah, I think it's back, left, right, top, bottom, and then this is the front. Something like that. Anyways, we have it set so the output, we're pulling out whatever we get into here and pushing it into this crate. So you can see I have this set up mirrored in all of these guys, but I wanted to walk through just kind of the technical putting everything together. So I don't have any servos on any of these, so let's get around to doing that. Okay, here we are. We are going to output, we want acorns and resins. So we want to close this off. We don't want to put into the packager yet. We're going to take this guy, we're going to whitelist just the tin and the resin, and then we're going to set that to ignore. So it's just automatically going to push those in. You can see, yep, it's there now, where this was empty before. I'm just going to put those in, and let me lock these, just for fun. I don't actually know if I was locking the other ones. Some of them I definitely did, it looks like. So then what do we do? Is this one? Oh yeah, that one's turned around. So from there, and it looks like I can't get into that, we want to set up our ratio. So resin gets taken out more. It's a 5:4 ratio, like I said, resin to acorn. The acorn, we're going to go down to 48. So that's 12 times 4. And then, oh, I fell down. And the resin is going to go down to 60. So that's 5 times 12. So 5 to 4 ratio. And we want to close off this. We don't want it going to the smelter yet. We just want it going to the packager. And the packager is right here. And yep, we have that closed off right. And I want to get on the other side now. Yeah, this is pretty cramped. I tried to compact it as much as I could. Maybe there's more I can do, but I thought this was pretty good. We have these servos that we just put in. They're going to this packager. We then want to pull out, and I actually don't know. I don't think it'll actually pull out the inputs here, but I'm not sure. So what we'll do, let me turn this off for now. We will send a signal for it to pump in some of the resin and the acorns. And once I give it power, so let me get our flux ducts. Once we give this guy power, and we need to power the smelter as well. Boom, he's powered. We're going to see the tin amber being produced. Oh, is that a graphical glitch? I wonder. It was. I was like, we only have our bacon generator, or our donut generators, our 2 culinary generators in the other machine block, but they're keeping up with all of this so far. Granted, we're not using a whole lot, but I'm still pretty impressed. So let's test this real quick. I'm not going to put any filter. I'm just going to ignore. So yeah, of course it's going to pull out the tin amber. Is it going to try and pull out any of the acorns and the resin? It does not look like it. That could be because this is full now. The tin amber is there, it's full. I wonder. For now though, I am going to whitelist. Maybe I'll test that later. So we'll do that. And yeah, it looks like I already configured all of these that I told you about. Usually the default is, I think, energy up here, output here, and input here. Not for sure. And then the last thing we need to do is put a servo down at the bottom of the energized smelter to pull out our products. And that is how we get our product right there. So now I'm going to set the rest of these up, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Oh yeah, and one last thing I wanted to show you as well. With this line that goes to the trash cans, this trash void and this one, make sure for sure blacklist the resin and the acorn that's coming out of that particular chest, or else you're going to be trashing all the good stuff that you want. And then in addition, I said I wasn't sure if we needed to lock these resin and tin, or resin and acorn crates. You definitely do, because if not, you might accidentally leave one of these levers on, and in that case you're going to drain one of your barrels and then it might get filled with something else. And so yeah, you want to lock it so even if it does get drained, it'll keep its place and you won't mess up the side that you need your ratio on the numbers. But yeah, that should be it for this. So I set up the rest of these and they are all good to go, and they are all with accompanying whiny pitch noise. Almost good to go. I just need to whitelist these ambers, set them to go. We got osmium, tin. In just a little bit we will have silver. There he is. And gold, in addition to our iron and copper and lead and nickel that we already had. So that is that setup. I still need to go over here and set up everything with like the dirt and the coal and the sand. These are really important actually, and I haven't gotten around to it quite yet. But yeah guys, that is pretty much going to do it for the episode. I feel kind of almost bad that it was all a bunch of explanation, but also not really. I really hope that showing you the process of what I'm doing is helpful, and maybe it can help you in your own playthrough if that's what you're doing. And then one last thing I did want to show. Right now we do have this item duct pulling things out, but we're going to switch that over to, instead we're going to pump in our inventory cables into the actual thing and then connect to inventories in there. It just made it a lot more simple. Maybe with the way I have it trashing things, we could actually do this feasibly, but I think the best way is just put those inside. So yeah, I don't know exactly what we'll do with this room now. Maybe just fill it with machines and blocks. But before we do end the episode, let's talk about our Enderman problem. We got a bit of a pest issue here. Now I haven't seen them actually taking blocks yet, but I'm sure it'll happen. Look at them, they're just running rampant. I think it'll happen, and I saw not too long ago, I saw this block gone. Now I don't know if Enderman carry slabs. This might have just been me missing a block or accidentally breaking it with a gun or something. I don't know. But look at this Enderman everywhere. The reason that is because of our addition to the mob system. What I think is happening is we have just straight platforms where mobs can spawn up in there, this kind of square part on the outside. And I think more mobs are spawning there, and then the Endermen have time to teleport out once they spawn. And for some reason they're doing it a lot more than they used to there. I don't know if it's just because it's more Endermen spawning. Because what I did is I put a Ender inhibitor active block here to inhibit any Enderman from teleporting from out of the killing chamber. Sorry, it's kind of loud. You can toggle that on and off. But I think I'm going to have to put those up there as well, so we stop getting these Endermen everywhere. They're going to be stealing all my stuff. I don't know all the blocks I can pick up, but they're surely going to be a menace. But that is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like the video. Leave me a comment to see if you have any questions about the systems I put in, or if you just wanted to say that you like the obsidian generator or the ore smelter, let me know. And make sure for sure to subscribe. And I hope you have an amazing day, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.